Welcome to, what do we have, Wednesday, August 14th. So happy you can all join us. We're welcoming Dope Candy, and so I'll introduce Candy in a second. I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about Pandion Music Foundation. We're a nonprofit 501c3. We are helping emerging artists around the world with tools to help foster more equitable, attainable, and sustainable careers. Based in Los Angeles, Pandion Music Foundation amplifies diverse voices to grow a more inclusive music industry by providing free weekly online workshops and wellness initiatives that connect independent musicians with leading professionals. And today, Dope Candy, a music producer, DJ, and music technology educator from Detroit, residing in Los Angeles. Yay, so you got the beautiful weather today with us.
I do.
Her music collaborations have included renowned brands such as Nissan, NCAA, Complex Con, and Virgin Hotels. Dope Candy has conducted engaging lectures and workshops at Cal State University, Wayne State University. Jay Dilla oversees the arts, media, and entertainment curriculum and has created successful work-based learning opportunities through partnerships with Avid, Dobie Institute, the Lennon Educational Tour Bus, and more. At Compton Centennial High School, committed to providing work-based learning opportunities, she aims to inspire and empower the next generation of music creators. Welcome, welcome, Dope Candy. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you
I
for
wish,
the awesome introduction.
yeah. So tell us a little bit more in your words about,
About me. Yeah,
about you and like what, who you are, like as a person and
absolutely. So I am a music producer. I actually started producing music at the age of 12. So it was a long time ago. It was when the MPC 2000 first came out. So I started on analog gear. How did I get started? Well, my mom's a singer-songwriter. She started at 16 touring with Bob Seger. She graduated from high school early and she toured with Bob Seger as a singer, grew up in the Motown. Uh, I guess the kids of the Motown were like her friends, they all grew up together. And so I was like on her hip at the studio all the time. And I was always told not to touch the music equipment. Well, I also have an uncle that was a bass player, guitar player. He played with the P Funk and the Dramatics and a bunch of other bands. And when he passed away, we got all of his equipment at our house, and I started messing around when no one was at home. And so I took a liking to the MPC, figured out how to use it. It was a chord keyboard I started to play with and started to record my own tracks. After about a couple of years, my mom, she found out I was good then, but I was too shy to really express myself. And then there was a producer named Tony Green. He's from Detroit. He's a bass player, but he worked with Dr. Dre and a bunch of other people. And he said, this kid, she knows what she's doing. And I started making songs for his independent label and his artists at the age of 15. I took a break from music, a long break. I actually went to college and got my degree in business and my master's in accounting, and I worked a corporate job, and I said, I hate this. And so I jumped back into music and I started doing beat battles all over the country. So coming from an analog gear, I started on the MPC, and that was really sample based, creating stuff from hip hop with samples. But I will also sequence with the chord keyboard. The Triton and the Trinity is what I got started on before all of these VSTs came out. And then the modules, sound modules, is what I learned how to use as well. But I transitioned, since I had corporate experience, I started working for companies. SAE Institute, I started working with them for a while and did beat camps with them. And throughout that process, I started working with nonprofits. So then I started to work with the kids and young adults, and pretty much showing how to get your music heard, how to create something, collaborated with Beat Stars on a podcast, and pretty much showing people how to get into the marketplace. I think exposure to how to get in the industry is a pathway that doesn't really exist. And so after the pandemic or during the pandemic, uh, the job at Compton came about. I moved here during the pandemic and I got the call and they said, hey, I think you would be great for this position. So I became the department head of audio production, spearheading the new program, which is CTE, audio production program. And I oversee the curriculum with Compton and the AME Institute. So we partner with California AME Institute to one, make sure that curriculum is built and it aligns with standards of California, but also giving that overall encompassing view with audio production, which is also performing arts. And then also with the curriculum, bringing hip hop into the classroom. And so one of the partners is Save the Music Foundation, and we have the Jay Dilla Music Tech Grant. Jay Dilla is also successful. He rest in peace, Jay Dilla, but he was a super successful producer that is world renowned for his work. And so, it's very cool to be able to represent a program and keep his name alive and also teach, some of the ways that he produced music. So here I am today. Today I'll show a little bit about how I start to just create an idea. I don't know if I'll take a survey of who's actually a musician or just a producer. I am not a musician, so throughout all of my time creating, I never picked up an instrument. I'll be honest, there was a point in time where I knew how to do it and I would lock in, but I would be like, I hate doing music, and I think we all maybe have felt that way, have a love-hate relationship with your passion, right? It's like a relationship. Um, and so I never picked up an instrument and stuck with it. I would say I played the bass for a minute because I thought it was cool. I'm like, my uncle played the bass. I want to play the bass. A female on the bass would be dope, I kind of got into that, but then I was like, the bass is boring because, unless you're actually doing and that takes a lot to learn, and so I was just like, well, whatever, I'll stick to what I do. So I don't actually play keys. I don't play, I say proficiently, I play everything by ear, if that makes sense. So I have Ableton pulled up and I'll show how I just start with a melody, starting to build a beat with the melody. And this could be R&B and hip hop. They kind of interchange depending on their subgenres in hip hop and R&B. So it really depends on what you're trying to create. Let's do a survey. How many people do we have in the room right now? I know it's more people that's entering the room and I'm kind of like, oh, you guys love me, which is cool.
We've
It's
got
very
16, I think 16 of us,
16.
including, or
Okay.
maybe 17. So maybe put it in the chat if
If,
you're,
if
what your questions, Candy, would be like if you're a musician or if you're a producer.
yes, if you can actually just put a thumbs up if you actually play instruments. Both. I have some people that do both, which is amazing, right? Some people read, some people play by ear, but if you're like really proficient in playing an instrument, okay. Now, entering the education space, it's a lot of instrumentalists in the education space. It's a lot of instrumentalists that don't really understand how, like, if you teach music, which I've been around a lot of music teachers thus far, they don't necessarily know how to bring the music tech aspect into the classroom. And then you have both, since if you're in the industry, then you probably know how to create, record yourself, and do all the things, right? So I work with musicians, call them over, and we just vibe out. That's one route of how I get started, and just keep letting ideas flow when you have people in the room with you and you kind of set up a jam session and just keep your DAW open and recording. That's one way to just pull ideas out until something sticks. I think when it comes to creating hip hop or R&B is really about sound selection, how to create a warm sound when you're doing R&B and something that actually touches the soul. And so whatever I do create here, I usually call in someone that can play something real. Like I'll have the concept and the idea, and I'll pretty much have everything fleshed out. But it's like if you came over and if you played guitar, if you play bass on top of this, then that would actually elevate the feeling of the track. Um, so that's one way that I start to, build on what I've created. And then also is drums forward. Rhythm and drums are usually forward in a hip hop track, and even R&B tracks, or that's really where we're at when it comes to that type of music. So I can you see both screens that I have up?
We only see your face right now.
Okay, so I have another screen. Let's see if this works. If not, then um,
You could share screen if you'd like.
desktop to share.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, we can see that, yeah.
Okay, but for the sound, let me see if I can share the sound. I don't know. Let's see if you can hear it, then it'll work.
Um,
Working. Okay, let me just try to play and see if you guys can hear it. Okay. All right, so I'll stop it. So anyway, I have a basis. Usually when I start building on a melody, when I'm like by myself and kind of going through stuff, I always try to focus on what it is that I'm trying to create. Sometimes if I'm just like blindly like, okay, let me just create something, right? So we have those times. So if I'm aiming for like something R&B, sometimes I'll have a reference. If I'm listening to like my favorites will be like Kehlani, or if I'm listening to Victoria Monet or somebody like that, then I'll probably listen to a song and say, oh, I like that. Or sometimes the idea just comes to me. Like if I'm doing mindless behavior, like walking, driving, and I may hum a reference into my phone and then come home and try to recreate it. So ideas flow through me probably just like you all in different forms. But one of the biggest things is sound selection with me. It's really big. If I don't like what I'm hearing, then I'll get discouraged in the middle of creating. And I'm being 1,000% transparent with everything I'm doing, by the way, on this Zoom. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and make it seem like everything is great when I'm coming up with something, because it's not. I go through tons of trial and error when creating an idea. But I noticed that the biggest thing is trying to get my ideas out as fast as possible. Once I do that, then I can sleep on it, wake up and say, oh, this was actually good. I was just overcritical, right? But I use Ableton as my DAW now. I was in Studio One. Sometimes I hop on the MPC. Sometimes I'm in Logic. It just depends on where I'm at in life at the moment. And so what I did was I just took a basic sound, and I may just start to create something super simple to build on. So it's all about building when it comes to melodies. And sometimes I'll keep building and then take stuff away later. But I usually start with a 4 or 8 bars, and then I just start stacking. So right here, I just have a basic melody, which we heard is a harp. And I also leave room so I could just change the sound later. Like I started with the harp, but I may want to change this to make it sound better. Or, later on I may say, okay, I don't really like the sound, or layer it. Layering is also a big thing. So I'll just play this, what I have looped, and then I'll go into the chords. So once I've picked something, just played it, I just started playing these 3 notes, 4 notes. Let it loop. Once I have a basis there, then I'll go to my chords. Again, the biggest thing with me is getting out my ideas as fast as possible, because if there's time in between, then it's like, oh, I'll go get something to eat. I'll go take a nap. I don't like this anymore. Let me start over. So we want to keep the energy flowing with what we have. So with chords, instead of sitting here and finding all the chords, unless I'm like been playing and I'm kind of warmed up for the day, and I know where they are, I use Cthulhu. There's also Chordis. There's so many different chord programs. But I have Cthulhu already in my template. I also usually start with templates because that's the fastest way to get my ideas out as well. And since I have this already here, then let me make sure it plays. What's going on? I think I went up a couple octaves. Let me actually bring it down or up, back. So I'm gonna play the melody and then find exactly where I want to be. That's where I want to be. All right. But let me bring it down. Okay. So found out where I want it to be. Put that metronome back on. Ooh, I got too much. All right, so I just played my little chorus. I forgot that tail end there, but I can add it in if I want to, or do something different to complete the phrase. That's what I call it when I tell my students. I'm like, it gotta sound like a complete sentence. When you're making something, you're almost kind of telling a story. So if the music talks to me, then I can talk back to it. And so let's see if I can actually, well, I can do whatever. Let me see. Yeah, let me do it one more time. Let's add it in so we can all just be together. And again, this is what I'm saying as far as, oh, I gotta do this again, you know. There we go. All right. Oops, I messed it up. Let me do it one more time. You guys get the exclusive bloopers and all. All right, here we go. And you know what? What I could do, since that was perfect, is I could just copy, duplicate. So I'm showing you a little DAW shortcut action here. We're able to, I can simply duplicate really easy by just grabbing this, and then I can move it to where I want it to be. And there we have it. So we got the 4 bars. Oh, where did this go? I lost my melody. I made a mistake and deleted that. So let's go back to it. And right, I'll play this and then duplicate it really quick. The bloopers. Let's go back. Let's do it one more time. I can get it on the second try. All right. Let's say, let's say. I know, but this is fun with y'all watching. You're probably like, oh, you almost got it.
Yeah, we're watching in real time.
In real time creation, and this is cool.
There was a person in the chat that asked, make your screen a little bigger. Is that possible?
Oh, sorry. Does this work for you?
Well, I mean, it was fine for me, but I think.
I mean, for them. Is
Yeah.
it like, okay.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Whenever you hit the record button, I don't know if this happens with you all, but that's when everything messes up. You do everything fine until you hit record. All right.
Right, right.
All right, so I can do that and I'll just leave it there because I'm gonna do something else with it anyway. So we got our basic melody, we got some chords. Another thing with R&B is that if you are creating for an artist and you have an artist that's already, you kind of want to leave space for them. If there's too much going on in the track, then they have no room to actually add their vocals, which is their instrument. So we don't want to fill it up with a ton of things, but you do want to give it character so that they can feel the track, right? Usually if I'm running a session, someone would be in here and they will be vibing out with me, coming up with their melody, their top line that can go with it. So that's something to keep in mind. Usually if I have something and I'm using like a basic guitar VST that's in Ableton, I didn't even, go through a gazillion sounds because that's time consuming, right? I'll add something like guitar rig. We'll add some creativity. We'll add some color. So let me show you what this looks like if I move it here on this screen. So basically I clicked my track that I had that harp because that's what it is. And I have guitar rig pulled up when I'm trying to find like a vibe, some sort of energy that I wanna get into, something different, then I'll go here. And they have tons of, pedal emulations that can give Weird Sounds character. So it sounded super basic, like we can do an acoustic song or something. That vocalist probably would have to be really good to make this pop right away. But once I add some guitar rig to it, and I would say one of my other techniques would just be to duplicate this track. So one of the tracks would have guitar rig on it and the other one would stay the same. So that way I can layer the sound, keep it playing, take it out, add it in, however I want to do it. But let's just solo this real quick so you can see what it sounds like with guitar rig on it. And there's other things in guitar rig. This is called Losing Focus. I have favorited it as I just played some stuff, but you can go in and find whatever. How many people use you use native instruments. Anybody, if you could put a thumbs up in the chat or somewhere where I can see it. Or just say yes if you do. It's fine. Anybody? Yeah, okay. So guitar rig, I just slap it on whatever I want. Like there is no rules to it. And it really makes stuff sound very unique. But if you want stuff to sound like a traditional guitar, you have those options too, like going into something that's super clean. You have different effects, wah-wahs, etc. Or you can build your own in a creative way. But for the sake of time, I'm going to leave it here. So we got some chords, and usually I will spend a lot of time on these chords and add more color, layer them, kind of filter a lot of things out, turn some stuff down, and mix that sound how I want it to be. But let's move on. So after that, we got our bass and our drums just to provide that foundation. So melody, chord, bass, and drums. Once you start with those, which I'm pretty sure you know, we have tons of musicians here, then it's like you can just play whatever because you got the key, you got the foundation, whether it's somebody that's hopping on the track or you know, you want to add different instruments, you can just go from there and go crazy because now we have a phrase. We have something that is there. So I'm going to let this play. And then I have my drum rack that's here. And then I have a bass that's already loaded. So I probably need to turn the chords down a little bit more, but. All right, so here's our drum pattern. I felt it immediately. So sound selection, again, is massive, is major. Once the drums is added, it gives you that retro boom bap hip hop R&B vibe immediately. So one thing that's a huge takeaway that I share is sometimes you'll be playing something and it's like, well, you didn't add enough to feel it. So don't get discouraged yet. Like keep adding and add until you're empty and then start subtracting in a range. So immediately, as you can see, the whole vibe was uplifted with having a kick and snare. Now, with my drums that I choose, I love dirty drums. That's like pretty much if anybody has found any of my music, no matter where it is, what it is, whether I did something for sync or not. My drums are always filtered, dirty sound. I always low pass something and layer them. So that's my theme. That's where I'm at. And then as far as patterns, I start basic and then get very complex, you know, within building on the drum. So we're just going to start with the kick and snare. And I am going to just record them. There we go. All right,
So
so
I think your audio is coming in and out. I wonder if is there a setting, NI, for the audio that would help her under settings?
I think it's just because the system of the soundtrack, it cuts it off. I could check.
I think that there's an audio, let me see. Would it be original sound for musicians, maybe? Well, anyway, it sounds pretty rad. I mean, like when I'm hearing it, but then it kind of cuts out a bit.
uh, so I have it on original sound for musicians.
Oh
Maybe,
yeah, that should work.
can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Let's see if what happens when I keep going. All right, so I'm going to add just some things within a drum. I got my kick and my snare now. I can throw some other things in there to build more character. So I'm gonna stick with that. That was like my little audition. I'll kind of, yeah, bring it in. Oh no, wait. I don't want to delete. My bad. Let me not. Let me do that. All right, my other track. Okay. All right, so we got some percussion, little character there. Then I'll add some hats. So again, I'll just go ahead and duplicate this drum rack track, but now just focus on my hats. And of course, we're gonna rename this to my perk for percussion, right? Rename this to my kick and snare. So I'm so used to teaching in high school that I literally show everything so that they're able to, you know, understand what it is that they're doing and how to organize their session so they don't have to go back and do this later.
Yeah, that's a great way to teach.
Usually I'll have like the whole template set up, but hey, this is where we're at today. So now we need some hats. So I'll do that. This is kind of like another percussion loop that I made it into, it's a loop, but I'm gonna have it as a one shot and just keep playing, you know, it'll start over wherever I want it to play. And so I'll record that. On the wrong track again, my bad. This is one thing that when I'm moving fast, I forget to do. Record enable the next track. All right, cool. Here we go. Okay, and then we can keep building on hats, of course, adding more things to the drums, just like we can add more things to the melody.
So what's happening, Candy, is like it plays in the very beginning and then it drops out completely. But we can still hear you talk. So we're hearing the very, very beginning part and it sounds so cool. We're like getting into it and then it drops out.
Oh, okay.
Hear the part that goes da 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 and then it drops out right away.
What? You
I
missed
know.
the whole thing. That's crazy. Okay.
So that's been happening and we're like we're hoping it'll change, but
Bummer. Um, I know there are some people that use, because I love to hear what people.
let's see. Athena
Wait
says,
for 2 seconds.
I'd love to hear what people more in the know are doing to produce. But you know what?
Oh,
Can I do what we could do? Because
okay.
I love that you did this little piece for us, like in real time. Do you want to drop it MP3 so we could hear it?
Yes. So I'll do that. I was gonna add a baseline, but I can I can
We'll
keep this.
just imagine. We'll imagine the bass.
Okay, cool. So let me just export it out. And while I'm doing this, if anybody has any questions, just put it in the chat for me. Because I mean, we have, how long is this supposed to be? I don't know.
Uh, we it's usually an hour.
Oh,
So
okay. We have time. I
20
mean,
minutes, yeah.
uh, vendor start. If anybody has any questions.
Well, I can start if you, but it looks like where do you like to get your drum samples is one question.
Oh, so some I make. So I do have loops that I make called Candi loops. I usually collaborate with some of my friends too, who also are great sound designers. Um, so I have packs from a lot of places. Um, and when I use packs, I always tweak them generally. Like I'll go in and kind of filter some things out and stuff, but really from anywhere. So with Splice one shots, definitely grab some stuff and layer it from there. It's really easy to get inspiration from a place like that, but also there's another site called Waves that I'll go to that my friends are involved in. And then I get drum samples. The Ratchet Gods production crew that I create stuff with all the time. They're from Philly, and we kind of bounce sounds back and forth, stuff that they make and probably get stuck on, or like, I made this here, take it to the next level, or see what you can do with it. And then I do the same thing. So I have like a network of people that I kind of work with that make sounds, and then we kind of just collaborate and send stuff back and forth. A lot of producers, through going to beat battles and being a part of beat battle shows, that was like the time, and they're not as frequent as they were before. Like I worked for one of the largest platforms when it came to beat battles, and they transitioned, but when I kept going and going from city to city, I was able to collaborate with people or know who was doing what. So we kind of just started to collaborate from there. Like if they know that I'm working on something, or I know that they like we vibe, then it's just like, oh, send me some samples, bro. Or sis. And then that's how it works. So I have tons of stuff from random places.
So I just looked up beat battles. So did you find them online or
How did I find? Okay, so this is going back into history. I started with a company called iStandard Producers. So they, I think, started doing producer showcases, had to be back in 2005 or probably earlier than that, and started in New York. And so back in 2011, and they traveled all over the country. So they were in 40 markets. Well, I helped expand them to 40 markets. So back in 2011, I came out here to the ASCAP conference, back when they had the ASCAP conference, and iStandard did a beat battle there. And I kind of met the crew. I just randomly walked in and, kind of met. And then they were in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for 12 years, and I was in Chicago at the time. So when I saw that they were coming to Chicago literally 2 days later, I went to the show and I saw it was a room full of guys. There was not one female in the room. And so I listened to the beats, and on the panel, so there's a beat showcase, and then they have celebrity producers that would judge. And so I stayed for the whole show, and then I said, hey, why don't you have any females doing this, and I had really never, like, I started so young, I really wasn't ever around a female producer. They were more vocalists and, artists, but no female producers. And I'm like, I started when I was 12. This was in 98, to age myself, but, and there's still no female producers 20 years later. Like, that's crazy. So that I've seen, that would come to these events, because even in LA in 2011, there wasn't anyone participating in the showcase. And so I said, I need to be a part of this movement because it was big. And so I did a showcase in New York. I flew to New York, and I said, if I'm going to do it, I have to be in one of the biggest cities. It was either going to be LA or New York. LA's turnout was okay, but New York, it was a 2-day event, and I think there was over 20 producers, and it was at Webster's Hall, which is in New York. Webster's Hall is like one of the places to perform. Like, it's history made at Webster's Hall. And so I was the only female in the show out of 20 producers each day, and it was packed, probably at capacity about 300 people. And so from that showcase, I got great reviews. I think I didn't even have any followers on Twitter, and it went up to 500 immediately. I was like, where do all these people come from? And so that was a great experience. From that, I said, well, I think it would be best for me to be a part of the company, because you don't have any women here is probably discouraging, you know? And so I started being a brand rep coordinator, production coordinator. I've done so many things, but I would put on the shows in Chicago. New York was my market, Chicago, Nashville, Minnesota. Like, we started to expand everywhere. And from there, I started to meet tons of producers, tons of industry people. Understanding the feedback, that was a place where producers would get heard. And then we expanded to a beat camp. So we would do beat camps and partner with SAE institutes, all of their campuses. So at the time, SAE had 8 campuses across the US. Atlanta, San Francisco, they had with Expressions. They partnered with Expressions. They opened one in LA and then they shut it down. It was really great campus. They had New York, Nashville, Chicago campus, Miami campus. And I think in Dallas, they partnered with Dallas Media Tech or something like that. And so we would travel to all these campuses and do a 3-day event and have celebrity producers give feedback, showcase, panels on marketing your stuff, getting your stuff heard, usually give out free gear. And so product specialists from all the brands would come out. And so I started to collaborate with them and work with them on different things. So it was a big thing. And then I think right before the pandemic, you know, everyone took a shift after so long. You know, it was just time for different growth in a different area. But the energy and the culture and all of the things I definitely miss. There's still stuff that happens, but I haven't felt the same since traveling and doing those showcases. I haven't been to an event that actually felt the same. One of the biggest events that we had was one in LA. I actually still have like photos and footage from that. But at the time, that was when the Compton album dropped. And so we had the panel with the producers and artists from the Compton album. And they came and talked about working with Dr. Dre and coming up with the work and how long it took. And, you know, everyone that collaborated on the album came out. Focus, Dim Joints, Candace Pillay, she was on the album singing the song with Eminem. And yeah, and so it was a great channel to release beat tapes, get your stuff heard, collaborate with producers, and pick up these techniques and tweak them to like your own workflow, because everyone's talking about how they do whatever they do, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was like my initial second beginning in music, I would say.
There's so much, I mean, there's so much that you offer and that you're part of. So you're part of like this music scene as a producer, as a female producer, which is not a lot, by the way. I mean, I know it's better. And that's why I love that you're introducing this to the young ones, you know, and in the future we'll see lots of female producers. And I love how you're in with this, with, you know, with the educational process. So that's great. And then also in your sync, it looks like you've got a lot of licensing going on here. How is that right now with like the world and the changes and everyone? There's so much music now. How is that affecting you, what you do with your creation and your collaborators? Do you feel a shift at all, or do you think you're just right in it still and it's like,
um, I mean, I pay attention to a lot. I would say, like, I just actually did another project uh, that came out. With Sync, I do feel like it's definitely going to shift. If anyone hasn't felt it yet, being out here in LA for 3 years, like coming from Chicago to LA, I wasn't a part of the Sync scene. It's like a whole scene here, and I feel like more and more people are getting into it. But of course, we have AI, and then every company started to buy up the libraries and start their libraries. And I feel like the budgets for, sync on the advertising level has probably been cut a lot. Like we see all these layoffs and all these transitions with companies. But I'm not worried. I think for me, when there's a downturn in the industry, that is an opportunity to upskill. So that's how I look at it. And I just stick to who I have relationships with. Um, so even though my goal is to obviously expand and do amazing, like as much as I possibly can, it takes the fun out of doing what you love when you worry so much about everything else that's going on. When it's like I can actually focus on being as unique as possible.
Right. And that sets you that sets you apart from everyone else and AI, So it's like but so upskill you're referring to the time that you can be creative.
Yes. So
Right.
upskill in whatever it is that wherever you see it transitioning to, like Dolby Atmos is the thing, right? So if you don't
Yeah.
engineer,
Right. Right. Are you mixing in Atmos right now?
I just started mixing at Atmos. I worked with them with my students on a project, and I got a chance to um, be an early, I guess, early adapter to the curriculum. So that's like the goal is to make sure that I sprinkle those seeds into the youth of what's coming up in music tech. And so, yes, I have tracks that I need to go back and mix them all in Atmos because now, this whole world is opened up. And so that's
It
more ways to be creative.
It is. It's like it's in your headphones right now, and then soon it'll be in your living room with the speakers. It'll be,
Absolutely.
and then that's everywhere in the theaters. So, yeah, there's this big conversation, Atmos or yes or no, at this point for the producers. But I think that like the producers, you could just keep doing what you're doing, right? And you can find somebody to mix it in Atmos, maybe.
Yes, you can. And also, like Ableton and Atmos is more of a creative tool than Atmos in general is a creative tool. So, like when we are still creating beats, like after I flush this entire idea out, then I will go back in and pan some stuff. Like I was already doing that. Like I would pan stuff where I want it to go, but in Atmos, you can actually pan a whole pattern, or if you're using an arpeggiator, ping it in different ways. So it's just another, you can use it pretty much as a plugin
Right.
in Ableton. Now, if you're in Pro Tools and if you're in Logic and your focus is on mixing it, then you would use, it for mixing. But I know in Ableton it can be pretty much a whole creative tool with the way that it's set up. And so I'm like, well, why not learn that? Like, why not upskill in that? And that's another
Right.
income stream. Like
So could you please send your MP3 to Anai and she can get ready to play it for
oh, I
me?
actually dropped it in the chat just for everybody to
Well, you
play.
dropped it to me, but I don't think anyone can see it.
Oh, really? In the
So
chat?
just click on meeting group chat and then everyone will get it.
No, that's what oh, I sent it to you. My bad.
And
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what Atmos is. It's a spatial audio technology that creates immersive sound experience. So like when you're in the theater, that's what you hear. You hear this like you could hear something in the back of your head or something on the left side or the right side. It's almost like separating the different sounds and it kind of feels you're feeling it almost like in a 3D sense. That's what Atmos is. And you could do a little experimentation if you want by with your headphones. Some headphones allow Atmos, and you could just click on music that's been mixed in Atmos. You can start hearing the difference. That's my suggestion to those people out there who don't know what Atmos is.
Yes. So I dropped the idea that I just did in the chat. So if
And
every
Anna, do you mind playing it for us?
Yes, I just pulled it up.
and then we could take a little listen. And as she's setting up, I just want to thank you. You are so, I mean, I would just love to do a part two with you. I know that there's some questions and there's a
Yeah,
Robin that she
Quick
met
question,
you.
Candy,
I
do you
remember.
just mind stop sharing your screen so I could share computer audio?
Oh, okay. Let me see. Screen. Oh, and you can't even see me on the screen? Okay, let me.
Oh yeah, we could. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
Oh
say.
yeah, you were on Spotlight and I took you out of Spotlight.
Okay, got it.
Totally see you. But I was gonna say, oh yeah, Robin Sandoval says she met you.
At the MC Light. Yes, so Robin, I do remember you. I'm glad you can join. So how do I find or seek out sync collaborations? Um, so a lot of my projects that I've worked on have really just been off of word of mouth.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, my initial collaborations with brands have been, wait a minute, you're a producer. And then, oh, well, do you have anything for this? And then I would get sent a brief and then I'll send stuff back. Um, Initially, I didn't hear anything back right away, but I just kept creating and kept sending stuff. So I kind of break all the rules that people say don't do when
That's
it comes to, I mean, at the end of the day, if you make something that you're confident about, why not flood the inbox of someone that's looking for music?
right.
I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, of course, have a little bit of etiquette, but, um, I send stuff consistently if I know that they need something, when I get, but then another thing, so then I if I have friends that are working on sync, I try to work with them. So of course in sync, you'll get a brief and they'll say we want it back tomorrow. Like who's waiting on this? Like at home, some people may be like there's go hard sync producers out here that is ready to go 24/7. But um I have tons of stuff that I do. I teach, I do all kinds of things. So I have that as an opportunity to reach out to my friends that produce. Hey, do you have something for this? Do you have even an idea? Because my mind may not be set on sports themed tracks right now, right? Like I've been in a whole nother world creating for something else. And I might get a brief that'll say, hey, we want some sports themed tracks. Okay, then I have a whole group of producers that I can contact and say, hey, do you have anything sports theme? And they may send me just an idea with no drums, just a sample that they've created. And I'm like, okay, this could work. What I'm really good at is listening and like, oh, okay, I can actually chop this, move this around, add drums to it, boom. And that'll take me maybe a couple of hours versus a whole day to make a full idea. So yeah, the last time I did that, I think I had like a 48-hour turnaround and I came up with 8 ideas. And I hit up every person that I knew. I'm like, do you have anything? And now we have this catalog together and it never goes away. So now the next go around, because they're all look for the same stuff around the same time every year, right? I
Right.
have, I'm like, well, if we don't get it this time, then we'll get it next time because we have about 10, 15 tracks right now that we've collaborated on. So we'll get something. And the more that we do, it's just a numbers game, right?
Right.
Um, and making sure that you kind of nail what you're hitting. And so that's how it is. I mean, there's tons of independent sync companies that send stuff. If I can do it and I have the bandwidth, then I'm on it. But if not, my second go-to is to reach out to everyone else and see where we can all add together. Or um, if I can't do it, I can't do it. I have to focus on something else. So, but that's my approach to it. Now, I've been lucky to be an ambassador for Nissan. And so when it came to working on their stuff, I was contacted directly. There was no middleman. There was no,
That's awesome. That's great.
so
No agency, no, yeah.
yeah, I didn't have to worry about that. So that's been cool.
Cool. I just think that like, I love that you have this other like you're giving us another position, another place, another way that's not just your typical way. And I love that about you, and I love the originality behind it. And everything you shared today, so awesome. I think Anna is ready to play your song.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Here.
So it's
Yay!
just 4 bars. So if anybody wants to take that and expand on it, and it could be a collaboration, since it's in the chat, go ahead and download it. I'm going to send you an email, put my email in the chat.
That's such a great idea. Like, think about all the cute little, like, not cute, but the neat, awesome moments that you might have with somebody in the group, and what can come of it. And Candy did Dope Candy did agree to do Ask Me Anything on Facebook. If you're not already
Oh,
part of our group, and I will share that right now. I highly recommend joining, only because that's how you can stay connected with a lot of our, mentors, like Dope Candy today. But also too, this is I mean, you're offering something incredible that I think is like a game changer, your interactiveness with the community today. And
oh,
like, I don't know if anyone's ever done that yet. So
oh.
yeah, that's awesome. So thank you. And I would I would highly everyone take you up on, I mean, take it up, take
Yes, please do, especially because you're instrumentalist. Like if somebody plays violin, anything, take that 4 bars, expand it to 8, then you'll have a full 8 bar. And I forgot to do that, but expand it to 8 and then just do some stuff. Send it to me. I can add on it. And I'm curious to see what it turns out like. I mean, this is what makes it fun for me. um, and this is how we can actually move on to the next idea. Like this could be something like, all right, oh, let me send the BPM and the key. So it is C minor.
D is in David, D minor.
No, I'm gonna put it in the chat. C minor and 85 BPM.
Oh,
And this is BPM, and this is the BPM in Ableton. I know sometimes when you go into a DAW, it changes sometimes, depending on what you're working with. But yeah, so I'm curious to see what y'all come up with, and then I can keep it going, and then we'll have a collaborative beat that we did together. And one of many, and then we can move on and do another.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, wow. I mean, Candy, thank you so much. And you are the dope. You are the dopest. So no,
thank you.
I'm glad that you started when you did, like what you said, 12 years old.
I started at 12 years. It's
Oh,
crazy because
we're so lucky to have you, and so I'm glad, and I'm so happy you're continuing you're holding the torch, and leading the way, and you're still so young. So wow, that's incredible, and I just wish you so much, in your career, and how much you're helping everyone. We're definitely going to pull you back. We did a teen camp recently, and we thought of you. So maybe this coming year in 2025 you could be one of the mentors for that. Would love that. It's a teen camp for ages 15 to 18. Happened at Earth Star Creation Center, my recording studio, in conjunction with Pandion Music Foundation, is who put it together. And also, I just want to say next week we have August 21st at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We have bespoke composition, how to answer briefs and craft sonic Friends with Becky Wixon from Song Trade. So you guys come back next week at 11 a.m. and definitely take advantage of the Ask Me Anything with Dope Candy. And I think Anna, did you put how to your socials and everything in the chat?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
wonderful. I think a little earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And then there's a contact that Dope Candy shared her email as well. So take
I'm going
advantage of all that. And thank you again. Wow,
thank
this
you
has
for
been
having
great.
me.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
Glad
Candi.
you all enjoyed Sorry about the difficulties with the sound, but we worked it out.
That's not your on you. That's just a weird Zoom thing that everyone has a problem with. So I
That's
think
awesome.
that
Thank you, Candy.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So much. Have a good rest of
have a
your day,
great day,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.